Hi, my name is Praveen. I'm from the Client Solutions Group of Dell Technologies. Welcome to this evening for a wonderful session on the remote workplace solutions. As most of you are experienced today, this is a challenging situation for all employees of various companies, of course, the public too. We are all working from a flexible workplace. I would rather put it as not just about a remote workplace. Why Dell Technologies in the market today is advising customers to adapt to more of a flexible workplace solutions is something which we are going to cover for the next 30 minutes of this session. Firstly, thank you for taking your time out of this particular evening and amidst all the challenging times. It's going to be something which is an eye-opener for most of you. Most of you would probably had not covered this angle when you initiated the lockdown process and procedures sometime in the month of February and March. We understood in the last 7 months about how the customer experience has evolved over a period of time, how they preferred certain actions in the beginning stage of the lockdown or during the pandemic, closure of offices. And then slowly and steadily, they later on reprioritize their strategies. Flexible workplace solutions is becoming a core IT strategy for any company today. There are several large ITES companies who have announced that more than 75% of their workplace will now be remote or flexible. They have enabled their employees to go with mobility solutions, more of a remote working solutions, including a lot of ecosystems and peripherals. It's just not about the laptop or the desktop device. When we assume how a traditional deployment in an organization takes place, how it has been so far. First, you place an order to purchase a device with an OEM. The OEM ships the device from its factory to your headquarters. You unbox it, you install all your custom applications, your company services and access rights, everything and so on and so forth, according to that particular user. And then you repack it, send it via our logistics to wherever the employee is based out of. He unpacks it back again. There are multiple layers before the user can actually switch on the PC and use for his productivity. Multiple layers mean more human labor involvement. At the same time, more time it takes to deploy and your employee to go productive from the day one. What's going to be customers' responsibility going forth is adopting modern deployment process. Modern deployment process eliminates all the middle stages in between. You can place an order today with the OEM. It gets shipped directly to the end user. And when he actually switches on the device, installs, he doesn't have to install basically. He keys in his login ID and password and connect to internet. Whatever he needs, as per the customers or the company's accessibility rights, as per the access which they have given to that particular user related to his work profile, everything gets downloaded over the internet. This is established in multiple ways. You can do custom factory integration of your apps. You can enable Dell Technologies with all your apps which you want to be ready out of the box, or you can adapt towards Windows Autopilot provisioning through your Azure cloud. Dell is one of the first vendor which adapted towards Windows Autopilot services. Or you can also go to alternate technologies such as the VMware Workspace 1, which comes from the stable of Dell Technologies. What's essential here is the downtime or the first initial deployment time, I would rather put it as, for your employee to go productive from day one, it's very, very easy and very, very less. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes to configure the entire PC once it is ready. More than the deployment where your employee is working from his remote workplace, perhaps his residence or from a hotel or from a cafeteria, wherever it is, it's also about the entire PC lifecycle. Deployment is the first stage, but once deployed, how do you protect your PC with various security options? Industry experts today say 99% of all the threats which are happening right now for organization originates from the endpoint device. It doesn't come behind your firewall in your data center. All it takes is for one employee to open one unsolicited mail and compromise the entire company's network. You can probably manage it when the employee is within your infrastructure, within your company's premises, and working within your network. But when he's working from his home, on a public internet, it is very difficult to control that behavior. So you need to have the right systems in place, such as the VMware Carbon Black antivirus solutions, which can prevent attacks before even they happen. Some findings says the actual ransomware or malware attacks are underneath your operating system for almost 60 days before it surfaces up the company's network. So it does a lot of work before even a user could realize it. VMware Carbon Black can do predictive and proactive steps for the company's network not to be compromised, detect threats, and mitigate it immediately on the fly. Manageability is very critical. Employee is not in your campus. If he's going to have some trouble with his device, who's going to take care of it? Troubleshooting, diagnosis, resolution path, changing hardware in case of a replacement required. Manageability is absolutely important. You need to have systems and tools in place which can detect the health condition of a device, report them centrally in a dashboard to the system administrator, who will then initiate the necessary remedial steps. In Dell Technologies, we also offer a lot of solutions and tools today which can do monitoring of the umpteen number of sensors which are inside your devices. We can detect any hardware failure before even they occur. With the right support services, such as the Dell Pro Support and the Pro Support Plus, along with some of the industry-leading tools, such as the Dell Support Assist, we can actually trigger automatic part replacements even without the user intervention. If the system detects that the memory or the hard drive or any hardware component is going to fail, it will automatically trigger a mail to the Dell Tech Support system. The part replacement will be sent directly to your designated address along with an engineer, and then actually the user realizes there is something wrong with the PC. Good Lord, that the issue was prevented even before it happened. It's all about keeping the lights on, isn't it? The system administrator's main task in the organization, where he spends a lot of efforts on, is to keep the lights on. So bank on Dell Support Services, which has been an industry undisputed leader for the last 1-2 decades in terms of maintaining. We cover tens of thousands of PIN codes across India. We provide next business day services. We provide 4-hour services within the same day. So when you, not just about Dell Technologies, when you embark a journey to take the decision of making your employees to work from home or a flexible workplace solutions, ensure you choose one vendor who can protect you and help you to support the complete PC lifecycle. These are the 5 steps to day 1 productivity. As we said, it's as simple as this. You export all the apps to the Workspace 1 in a PPKG file type. The system administrators understands this. You ship it to Dell via a secure FTP. That FTP link cannot be compromised. It's accessed only by Dell or the customer. We apply everything in the factory, ship it out to the end user, and when the end user switches on, everything is meant for him is actually ready out of the box. Why Dell is this trusted security partner? It's not about antivirus solutions. It's not about internet security or web security. Threats can happen at all levels, even at the hardware level. So Dell Technologies actually provisions the best or the industry's best solutions in terms of hardware security. Trusted platform module is very, very important. If you embark a journey on keeping your data encrypted along with Windows Defender or your BitLockers or any other encryption software, you need a hardware TPM. You cannot go with a firmware TPM because firmware can easily be cracked. Hardware is an isolated boundaries within which your encryption keys lies and nobody can hack it. Similarly, today is a generation where the end users use a lot of login credentials through fingerprint reader, biometric access, through facial recognitions as well. How do you protect those information? It cannot be just the keylogger or keystrokes capturing. Some people capture the data, which is essentially your face recognition, apply that to unlock the PC or your fingerprint reader data as well. Dell provides something called a Safe ID. This is a hardware control vault where within your biometric data or all your login credentials is stored in a closed boundary and nobody can virtually hack it. Safe BIOS is very critical. If a person gains access to your BIOS system, he actually gets access to your entire device because BIOS dictates how the device should act, isn't it? And once he gets access to your device, he gets access to the complete company's network. So protecting your BIOS as it is and intact without compromise is absolutely important. Now, why do you need a BIOS safe option when you can keep checking it, monitoring a period of time? Sometimes the system administrators cannot really see if the BIOS version has been compromised or not. And the worst of all, if the device is actually compromised, it will only mask and say, everything is fine, the BIOS version is right, go with your business as usual. That's not the way. You need to do the BIOS checking off the host, not within the device. So Safe BIOS is an option which gives you cloud-based BIOS verification services. Safe Screen is catching up in the industry quite quickly. Whenever you're traveling, you're worried about the person sitting next to you actually looking at your data or looking at your laptop, and he reads through what you're actually making a presentation or your sensitive, confidential company's information, so on and so forth. In olden days, we used to give a privacy filter, which you put it on top of the LCD, but it's now gone electronic. Safe Screen is an electronics e-privacy filter. With one click of a button in your keyboard, you can change the laptop's display into a privacy filter, which means the person who's sitting opposite to the device can see what is happening. The person sitting next to him at an angle cannot see the content in the laptop, which is quite essential for any of your employees who's in travel mode quite often. Trusted access in terms of defining what levels of accessibility is required where the employee is working from. With VMware Workspace ONE solutions or industry-leading solutions today, you can set and dictate the accessibility steps required. If you are within the company's network, probably one level of authentication. If you're working from a private place, such as your residence, maybe one level or two level. If you're working from a public place, you can enforce mandatory 2-level of authentications. So the trusted access can be enabled depending on the user profile and flexibly. Data, as we spoke, has to be protected across wherever it travels. One of the key things which we speak about is about mobility device and the power backup which you can get. Now, one thing which employees and the customer in return also notice over a period of time during the experience. After you procure a device, deploy it, after 1 year or 2 years, you suddenly start noticing the laptop is not giving you much of a backup as it intended to do so, or it used to give you in the first 1 year of usage. Now, the problem lies with the user's behavior. When a user is connected to a power source constantly, the system, any electronic device, tends to get heated, isn't it? Just like your mobile phones. So once this gets heated, the battery walls become weaker and weaker, it cannot hold any more charges. So those kind of behavior done by the user, exhibited by the user, cannot be controllable by any system administrator. So how do we protect this? Companies shell out a lot of money today to replace batteries after 1 year or 2 years, and to keep the device intact for their 4 years of 5 years life cycle intended. They intended to use the laptop for 4 years or 5 years, but they keep replacing the battery quite often. You cannot afford to do that. You need to keep the total cost of ownership as low as possible. Dell helps you with a flurry of tools inbuilt within the devices. One such thing is the Power Manager. Using Power Manager, you can set various templates, how you want to work. You can set a cool mode, you can set a power mode, extension mode, a very conservative mode, or a performance mode. Various templates are available for you to choose. It also gives you the provision today to set threshold levels. Even if this power adapter is connected to the source, it can stop drawing power when the battery reaches to a certain stage of charge. And once it falls below a certain threshold, it starts drawing back the power back again from the source. That's a beautiful way of looking into it. Even better for system administrators, you can enforce this as a policy and a best practice to all those employees who are working from a remote area. This protects your company's investments. If you're really interested on this, I suggest to go up to dell.com/command. There are various videos and self-help explanatory guides available for installations and so on and so forth. Needless to say, the Dell Command Power Manager ships default with all the Dell commercial mobility device, such as the Latitude and the Precision. Calendar year 2020 has been an exciting year because this is the first time industry has witnessed something in AI and machine learning coming into your endpoint devices, which is absolutely important. Today, you can't predict how your employees are using these laptops when they are at home or wherever they are working from. So what's important to note is it's all about productivity. You have flexible working hours at their convenience wherever they are based out of. At the same time, they have to be productive enough. They cannot complain about the system being low performance. Dell Optimizer is a bundle of artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities. Dell today is the only vendor to offer this as a default option in its commercial mobility portfolio and fixed portfolio, of course. What happens? You can choose 5 different applications which you use commonly. It could be Outlook, it could be your Microsoft Office tools, it could be any of your custom applications which your company provides you. You point it out to the Dell Optimizer, the machine starts learning how you use it. We always believe that one size does not fit all, correct? Which means one user performance, even within the same team, differs from his peer or his colleague. So this machine learning capability is very unique to that particular user. It understands how I use my laptop, how much of memory my applications consume, how much of battery or resources or performance requirement does it need. And it fine-tunes it. And after 10, 15 days, once it optimizes itself, you'll suddenly see a performance boost. The machine starts delivering it to you. Switching between applications are very seamless. The boot time required for any application is absolutely fast. That's the Dell Optimizer. Bringing artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities into your mobility devices or any remote workplace device is absolutely key to keep your performance and productivity intact and even better. The Dell Commercial Latitude portfolio, the mobility portfolio per se, believes in the phenomena of one size does not fit all. We offer essential computing in the 3000. We offer mainstream performance in the 5000, premium 7000, ultra premium in 9000, and various devices for even small businesses. So you have a variety of options to choose from, the screen size to choose from. It's all about the personas of the end user. The end user, if he's a remote worker, it's a different machine. For a corridor warrior, it's a different recommendation. For on-the-go professional who's traveling a lot, it's a lot about battery backup. It's a lot about connectivity faster, and so on and so forth. So it's about 7,000 or 9,000 series. So when we launched this, the Latitude 3000 series, which is the essential computing, this year, the market was looking at what's new here. This is an essential computing. What more technology can you incorporate with its budget or a value models? We constantly endeavor to make the devices smaller, thinner, and lighter for every version which we launch. Last year, we brought the fingerprint reader on the power button. And this year, the power button is inside the keyboard so that the device, though the screen size is the same, brings it smaller and a bit of lesser weight compared to the previous year. Today, the users can just switch on PC by just opening the lid of the device. You don't have to search for the power button. Along with the Dell Optimizer, which is giving you machine learning capabilities, the moment you switch on or you actually open the laptop, it just takes few seconds to your desktop screen and start the applications as quickly as possible. The 7000 series and the 9000 series does a lot of great wonder. They provide you with the latest technologies in context sensing awareness. For example, the proximity sensors. You don't have to really type in your password or your identification. You can still use biometric access, but it takes that to the next step. Today, when you approach the PC, The PC realizes through the proximity sensor that you're nearby the device. It wakes on from the sleep mode, triggers the IR camera, which scans your face and logs in without you having to touch the PC. Completely seamless and touchless experience. It also realizes when you step away from the device, it also realizes that you have moved away from the device, locks the PC, dims the screen, conserves the battery, and goes back to sleep. That's the intelligence which we have derived in these new technologies. Industry also states that you provision more and more mobility solutions. It's just not about the wireless card, but also about providing SIM card sprays or SIM card slots with 4G capabilities. Everybody is 4G driven today. So you can provision SIM cards directly into these machines. And Dell is only vendor today to offer you eSIM technology, where you can switch between internet service providers or mobile service providers seamlessly without necessarily having to change the SIM card itself. 9000 series, which is our flagship product, launched with a lot of fanfare, which gives you the best experience for a remote workplace solution. It's the first device in the market on the ultra premium category to come with 5G capability readiness. Of course, in India, it is difficult to guesstimate when the 5G readiness is going to happen. But if your employees are traveling overseas, abroad, the machine is intelligent enough to understand that you are traveling to overseas and it needs 5G connectivity speed. It fine-tunes it automatically. You can have 5G readiness even today. We provision a lot of modern era technology. For example, top firing speakers, which gives you the best-in-class meeting experience. The meeting experience needs to have echo cancellation, noise reduction. At the same time, multiple mic arrays. It could be a dual mic or a quad mic array. Because wherever you are speaking from an angle to the laptop or the device, the other person who's listening to you should not feel a difference. So top firing speakers is one of the key technologies which we have provisioned to give you the seamless experience of a meeting room within your home place. 15-inch screen, infinity edge display, edge-to-edge glass. That's some of the technology innovations which made us make it smaller. Battery life is quintessential for any customers for provisioning a mobility technology. Best-in-class battery life solutions. Peripherals is absolutely key. The ecosystem which you provision to your customers, I mean to say the end users within your company, is absolutely important. It's not about a mobility device or provisioning just a laptop. When the employee was working from your office, he had access to multiple accessories and peripherals such as monitors. You need to provision the same thing to get the best productivity out of them. Some of these work profiles also requires dual monitor capabilities, wireless keyboard and mouse to maintain seamless experience within the desk, clutterless desk, a dock solutions perhaps, and most importantly, the audio video solutions. Here, we are talking about Skype approved headsets or speakers, Zoom approved or Microsoft Teams approved, whatever the collaboration tool your company is using today, you need to ensure the peripherals through which the employee is accessing those collaboration tools are certified and proven, right? So that's the key for any productivity for flexible workplace solutions to be at its best. One such thing, new innovation, is something like a hybrid speakerphone, which gives you everything within the small device. It's a speakerphone with shortcuts for your collaboration tools. At the same time, it also acts as a dock or port extender. What's the mantra for a flexible solution? You need to be always ready. The end user needs to have the best-in-class productivity. It's done through Dell Optimizer, AI, ML capabilities. You need to have best-in-class battery backup solutions, the right ecosystem, best design for employee experience. Don't take this wrong, but industry experts actually believe if you do not provision the best devices and the best technologies to your employees, there are survey results which shows 60% of them tend to leave your company. There are surveys which also point out that 70 to 80% of the candidates prefer companies which gives them the best technology to work with. Unified Workspace One or Unified Workspace as a central management capability is absolutely important. You can have heterogeneous environment within your infrastructure. not just one vendor, but multiple vendors, but choosing the right partner through which you can manage the complete client infrastructure, safeguarding them, provisioning them, everything on the cloud, everything on the go, very dynamically, without human labor intervention. That's quintessential for any company which is taking its first step to enable their employees to work from remote or a flexible workplace solutions. I hope today's session make a lot of depth into what are the alternate technologies which you need to look at, just not about provisioning the device for your employees to work from home or flexible from anywhere, but it's also about security, PC lifecycle management. How do you protect your assets at the same time, have zero downtime for your employees to work? Beyond that, you also bank on the same partner who gives you end-to-end PC lifecycle management solutions to resolve the issue if it may happen, directly to where the employees are present, not necessarily or substantiating him or her to travel to a certain locations to get it corrected. It needs to be done on-site wherever they are. Thank you for taking your time out today. In case you are interested to learn more about it, do reach out to any of your Dell Technologies representative. We'll be glad to help you out.